Good morning, dear students of HSC first year. Once again, welcome to the online class arranged by Rajshahi College. I am Mohammad Amir Sadat, Assistant Professor of English. Hope you all are keeping fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. Still, we have not found any favorable situation to open our educational institutions. For this reason, we have arranged this online class. Today I will deliver a lecture on Unit 6, Lesson 1. And the title of Unit 6 is Adolescence. And the title of the lesson is The Storm and Stress of Adolescence. Then we have to know what is adolescence. World Health Organization identifies adolescence as the period in human life occurring after childhood and before adulthood. This is one of the critical transitions in human life. Biological processes drive many aspects of this growth with the onset of puberty. Some variation take place because of education, urbanization, and spread of global communication. Actually, adolescence is the period of preparation, and this preparation for adulthood and some basic physical development we can find in this situation. This period bears a lot of risk, like uses of alcohol, uses of cigarettes, drugs, initiation of sexual relationships, pregnancies, and sexually transmitted infections. Okay, adolescence is the period of rapid transition, and things happen very fast at this stage. And duration of adolescence differs in different places due to cultural and socio-economic situations. Okay, today we will discuss about this topic from text. I will read the text thoroughly, and after that I have made some vocabulary, I have made some MCQ type of questions for practice, then class test with clues, class test without clues, and at last I have made some open-ended questions, that is short questions. Okay, for better understanding, I have made a slide presentation. Okay, let's go to the slide presentation and enjoy today's class.
Well, dear learners, before going to start discussion from text, let's have a look on today's class outline. From today's class, you may know Unit 6, Lesson 1. Today I will read Unit 6, Lesson 1, and today's topic is adolescence. After reading the text thoroughly, I will discuss the summary of the passage. I have made a summary of the passage for your understanding. Then I have made a vocabulary, and you know that vocabulary is very important for understanding English well. Then choose the best answer. I have made some MCQ type of questions for your practice, then class test with clues, and then class test without clues. And you know that this type of class test may come from the text or out of text, and then some open-ended questions. And now we will discuss the text. Today we will discuss Unit 6, and the title of today's unit is Adolescence and Lesson 1. And the title of Lesson 1 is The Storm and Stress of Adolescence. Here is the text. Children must pass through several stages in their lives to become adults. For most people, there are 4 or 5 such stages of growth where they learn certain things. There are 4 or 5 such stages. Number 1, infancy. Infancy is birth to age 2 is called infancy, and then early childhood, age 3 to 8 years. 3 to 8 years is called early childhood. Then later childhood, 9 to 12 years, and adolescence is 13 to 18 years. So those who are at the age of 13 to 18 years, they are called adolescents. And persons 18 and over are considered adults in our society. And dear learners, here you see a picture of adolescence. Now, of course, there are some who will try to act older than their years, but for the most part, most individuals have to go through these stages irrespective of their economic or social status. World Health Organizations, that is WHO, identifies adolescence as the period in human growth and development that occurs after childhood and before adulthood. This phase represents one of the critical transitions in one lifespan, and I repeat, this phase, that is the adolescence period, is the most critical transitions in one's lifespan and is characterized by fast-paced growth and change which is second only to those at infancy. Biological processes drive many aspects of this growth and development, with the onset of puberty marking the passage from childhood to adolescence. Here, dear learners, you have you can see a picture. Here some adolescents people, children are trying to study. There are some books, some pencils, papers, and some slates, and they are studying. And this period is called adolescence period. The biological determinants of adolescence are fairly universal. However, the duration and defining characteristics of this period may vary across time, cultures, and socio-economic situations. Here is another picture of adolescent people and adolescent girls, and this period has seen many changes. I repeat, this period has seen many changes over the past century, and puberty, for example, comes earlier than before, and people marry late, and their sexual attitudes and behaviors are different from their grandparents and or even parents. Among the factors responsible for the change are education, urbanization, and spread of global communication. The time of adolescence is a period of preparation for adulthood, during which one experiences several key developments besides physical and sexual maturation. These experiences include movement towards social and economic independence, development of identity. Dear learners, here you can see another picture in school and out of schools, and as among refugees, and there are only 50% of children are in primary school, and only 25% of adolescents are in secondary school. So from this picture, we realize that adolescents people are going school less than primary school. That is, in adolescent level, children are less school going than primary school. The acquisition of skills needed to carry out adult relationships and roles, and the capacity for abstract reasoning. While adolescence is a time of tremendous growth and potential, it is also a time of considerable risk. I repeat, while adolescence is a time of tremendous growth and potential, it is also a time of considerable risk, during which social contexts exert powerful influences. After reading the text, I have made a summary. Here is the summary, dear learners. World Health Organization, that is WHO, identifies adolescence as the period in human life occurring after childhood and before adulthood. This is one of the critical transitions in one's lifespan. Biological processes drive many aspects of this growth with the onset of puberty. Some variation take place because of education, urbanization, and spread of global communication. And adolescence is the period of preparation. I repeat, adolescence is the period of preparation for adulthood, when one experiences some basic developments like physical and sexual maturation, movement towards social and economic independence, and the acquisition of skills, etc. This period bears a lot of risk like uses of alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, and initiation of sexual relationship, leading to fatal injuries, pregnancies, and sexually transmitted infections. Many, however, experience a wide range of adjustment having long-lasting effects on future health and mental growth. So this is the summary of the passage. Now I have made a vocabulary, and I would like to request my students to write down the meaning of the words for better understanding of the passage. And infancy, here is the first word, infancy. Infancy is a noun, and its Bengali meaning is shoishav. Its synonym is childhood or youth, and antonym is adulthood. Then consider. Consider is a verb, and its Bengali meaning is bibechona kora, and its synonym is contemplate mentally, think, regard as, or care for, and its antonym is ignore. Then individual. Individual is a noun, and its Bengali meaning is bhakti, and its synonym is a single person or being somebody, and its antonym is group. Adolescence is a noun, its Bengali meaning is কৈশোর থেকে যৌবনে পদার্পণ করার বয়স সংক্রান্ত প্রক্রিয়া. And this is the main topic of today's class, adolescence, and its meaning is কৈশোর থেকে যৌবনে পদার্পণ করার বয়স সংক্রান্ত প্রক্রিয়া. And its synonym is juvenility or teens, and antonym is maturity. Then transition. Transition means পরিবর্তন, and its synonym is change or passage, and its antonym is stagnation and beginning. Span is a noun, and its Bengali meaning is সময়ের দৈর্ঘ্য, and its synonym is a length of time or duration. Characterize. Characterize is a verb, and its Bengali meaning is বৈশিষ্ট্যমণ্ডিত করা, and its synonym is describe, mark, designation, etc., and its antonym is hint. Then onset. Onset is a noun, its Bengali meaning is arambho, and its synonym is beginning, start, and outset, and its antonym is end and finish. Puberty. Puberty is a noun, and its Bengali meaning is boyosandhi. Its synonym is sexual maturity, and its antonym is adulthood. Here is another word, urbanization. It's a noun, its Bengali meaning is nagorayon, and its synonym is act of urbanizing. Then maturation. Maturation is a noun, its Bengali meaning is purnota prapti or poripokkota. Its synonym is ripeness, antonym is immaturity or inexperience. Then acquisition. Acquisition is a noun, its Bengali meaning is orjon, and its synonym is acquirement, procurement, and gain, and its antonym is dearth or forfeit. Then abstract. Abstract is an adjective, and its Bengali meaning is bimurto, and its synonym is isolated and separate, and its antonym is concrete. Then reasoning. Reasoning is a noun, its Bengali meaning is jukti pradorshan, and its synonym is argument or debating. Then potential. Potential is an adjective, its Bengali meaning is প্রচ্ছন্ন বা সম্ভাবনাময়, its synonym is possible, virtual or immanent, and its antonym is actual. Then influence. Influence is a noun, and its Bengali meaning is প্রভাব, and its synonym is impact or control or effect, and its antonym is impotency. So these are some words. I think you have to know the meaning of this word, and then choose the correct answer from the alternatives, that is MCQ type of questions. I have made some MCQ questions for you for practice, And number 1, adolescence is dash preparation for adulthood. So which will be the correct answer for question A? There are 4 options: a section of, option 2 the time of, option 3 a difficult thing, and option 4 an external time of. So which is the correct answer? The time of. I think the time of is the correct answer. Adolescence is the time of preparation for adulthood. Then question B, to become adults, children have option 1 to get proper education, option 2 to have good intelligence, option 3 to be social, and option 4 to pass several stages of life. So I think option 4 is the correct answer. To become adults, children have to pass several stages of life. To become adults, children have to pass several stages of life. Now question C, adolescence is. Adolescence is. There are 4 options: a stage of life, option 1, option 2 last stage for becoming an adult, option 3 a grooming period of life, and option 4 last state of life. So which will be the correct answer? Option 2 last stage for becoming an adult. So I repeat, adolescence is the last stage for becoming an adult. Now question D, dash are treated as adults in our society. Option 1, those who have obtained graduation, option 2 those who can move without any help of others, option 3 those who weigh 110 pounds, and option 4 those who are 18 and above. So which will be the correct answer? Option 4 is the correct answer. Those who are 18 and above are treated as adults in our society. I repeat, those who are 18 and above are treated as adults in our society. Now question E, the most complicated stage in human life is. Option 1 infancy, option 2 adolescence, option 3 adulthood, option 4 old age. And the correct answer, of course, adolescence. The most complicated stage in human life is adolescence. Here is the solution to question 1. We have already discussed about the question and answers, and you may write down the answers in your khata. For question A, option 2 is the correct answer, the time of. For question B, option 4 to pass several stages of life. For question C, option 2 is the correct answer, last stage for becoming an adult. For question D, option 4 is the correct answer, those who are 18 and above. And for question E, option 2, adolescence is the correct answer. Dear learners, here are some more MCQ questions for practice. Question A, most of the growth and development occurs during option 1 infancy, option 2 childhood, option 3 later childhood, and option 4 adolescence. So here is the option 2 childhood is the best answer. Most of the growth and development occurs during childhood. Question G, dash is characterized by fast-paced growth. Here are 4 options. Option 1 adolescence, option 2 adulthood, option 3 from 30 to 40 years, and option 4 later childhood. And here option 1 adolescence is characterized by fast-paced growth. So option 1 is correct answer. Question H, some key developments are experienced during option 1 childhood, option 2 later childhood, option 3 adolescence, and option 4 adulthood. So here option 4 is the correct answer. Adulthood, some key developments are experienced during adulthood. Question I, one experiences economic independence. Option 1 when one earns. Option 2, when one inherits a vast property. Option 3, when one attains adulthood. And option 4, when one gets married. So here when one attaining option 3, adulthood is the correct answer. When one attains adulthood is the correct answer. So one experiences economic independence when one attains adulthood. Puberty comes earlier than before. Option 1, due to greenhouse effect. Option 2, as a result of global warming. Option 3, as a result of food habit. And option 4, due to change of culture and socio-economic situation. So option 4 is the correct answer. Puberty comes earlier than before due to change of culture and socio-economic situations. Question K. Duration of each state of human life. Option 1 are static. Option 2 may vary. Option 3 is same everywhere. And option 4 in universal. And for question K, option 2 is the correct answer. Duration of each state of human life may vary. So here is the solution to more MCQ questions. And option A, for question A, option 2 is the correct answer, childhood. For question G, option 1, adolescence is the correct answer. And for question H, option 4, adulthood is the correct answer. For question I, option 3, when one attains adulthood is the correct answer. For question J, option 4, due to change of culture and socio-economic situation is the correct answer. For question K, option 2, may vary is the correct answer. So here are the solutions of some more MCQ questions, and I would like to request my students to write down the answers in their khata and try to practice more and more. Now fill in the gaps with suitable words from the list, and it is also called clause test with clues. And here are 10 clues. First of all, we have to read out the clues and we have to understand the meaning of these clues. Number 1, critical, responsible, adulthood, aspects, fast, earlier, adolescence, development, communication, and fairly. So there are 10 clues for 10 gaps. Okay, let's start. World Health Organization, that is WHO, identifies adolescence as a period in human growth and gap A. So which will be the correct answer for gap A? Here development is the correct answer. Here is the clue development. So I repeat, World Health Organization identifies adolescence as the period in human growth and development, and that occurs after childhood and before. Option B, that is gap B. B is which will be the correct answer for B? Adulthood is the correct answer for question for gap B. So I repeat the line, World Health Organization identifies adolescence as the period in human growth and development that occurs after childhood and before adulthood. This phase represents one of the gap C. Gap C, critical is the correct answer for gap C. One of the critical transition in one's lifespan and is characterized by gap D, which will be the correct answer for gap D. First is the correct answer and is characterized by fast-paced growth and change, which are second only to those at infancy. Biological processes drive many. Gap E, which will be the correct answer for gap E. Aspects is the correct answer. Here is the option aspects. Processes drive many aspects of this growth and development, with the onset of puberty marking the passage from childhood to option F, which will be the correct answer for F. Adolescence is the correct answer for gap F. So I repeat, biological processes drive many aspects of this growth and development, with the onset of puberty marking and the passage from childhood to adolescence. The biological determinants of adolescence are gap G. Here fairly is the correct answer. Adolescents are fairly universal, and however the duration and defining characteristics of this period may vary across time, cultures and socio-economic situations. This period has seen many changes over the past century. Puberty, for example, comes age, which will be the correct answer for age, comes earlier than before. So here earlier is the correct answer for gap age, comes earlier than before, and people marry late and their sexual attitudes and behaviors are different from their grandparents or even parents. Among the factors, gap I, responsible is the correct answer. Among the factors responsible for the change are education, urbanization and spread of global communication is the correct answer. So here is the clause test with clues, and here is the solution to question 2, and I request my students to write down the answers in the khata. For gap A, development is the correct answer. For gap B, adulthood is the correct answer. Gap C, critical is the correct answer. For gap D, first is the correct answer. For gap E, aspect is the correct answer. For gap F, adolescence is the correct answer. For gap G, fairly is the correct answer. For gap H, earlier is the correct answer. For gap I, responsible is the correct answer. And for gap J, communication is the correct answer. Dear learners, here is question 3. Complete the following passage with suitable words. It is also called clause test without clues, and there is a passage to fill in the gaps, and you have to fill the gaps, and you have to write down the gaps with the help of grammatical rules and with the help of your own memory. And here is the text: adolescents gap A on their gap B, and their communities, schools, health services and their workplaces to dash a wide range of skills that can dash. So this is a long sentence. You have to read carefully and slowly, and after understanding the sentence you have to fill the gap with the help of grammar and with the help of your own sense. So for gap A you can write depend or rely, and for gap B you can write families. So I read: adolescents depend on their families, or adolescents rely on their families, their communities, schools, health services and their workplaces to learn. You can write learn, you can write attain, and you can write acquire. So there are a lot of options to fill the gaps. Workplaces to learn a wide range of skills that can D. For gap D you can write help or you can write assist. So you can write more options also. This is the importance, or this is the fantastic idea about clause test without clues, and that you can write according to your own. And then to cope with the option E, gap E, you can write pressures, and you can write challenges, and you can write problems. So to cope with the pressures, to cope with the challenges, to cope with the problems they face and make a successful transition from childhood. F, for gap F you can write childhood to adulthood. Parents, members, and for gap G you can write of, parents and members of the community. Parents and members of the community service providers, and dash institutions. So which will be the correct answer for gap H? You can write social institutions, you can write educational institutions, have the gap I. So which will be the correct answer for gap I? I think responsibility. You can write responsibility to both promote adolescent development and adjustment, and to intervene for gap J when problems arise. Which will be the correct answer for gap J? You can write effectively or you can write successfully. So I repeat the line, last line. Parents, members of the community, service providers, and educational institutions have the responsibility to both promote adolescent development and adjustment, and to intervene effectively or successfully when problems arise. So, dear learners, here is the solution to question 3, which I have already discussed, and I would like to say to write down the answer in your khata. Here for gap A, depend or rely is the correct answer. For gap B, families is the correct answer. For gap C, learn or attain or acquire is the correct answer. For gap D, help or assist is the correct answer. For gap E, pressures or challenges or problems is the correct answer. So there are more options you can write for clause test without clues. For gap F, childhood is the correct answer. For gap G, off is the correct answer. For gap H, social or educational is the correct answer. For gap I, responsibility is the correct answer. For gap J, effectively or successfully is the correct answer. Now question 4, answer the following questions, and that is called open-ended questions. I have made some questions and I have made some sample answers for you, and this answer is given to help you to understand the questions, and you can better learn how to write the answer of this question. And this is sample answer. You can write answer according to your own English. So question A, why is adolescence called the time of preparation? Very important question. Why is adolescence called the time of preparation? And answer, the time of adolescence is a period of preparation for facing the risk and responsibilities of adulthood. I repeat, the time of adolescence is a period of preparation for facing the risk and responsibilities of adulthood. Question B, when does physical and sexual maturation happen? Answer, physical and sexual maturation happens during adulthood. For question C, why do some people try to act older than their years? Why do some people try to act older than their years? And here is the answer. In rare cases, some people try to act older than their ages. It is because their transition from one stage to the other happens earlier. Question D, what things occur during the period of adolescence? And it is very important question. What things occur during the period of adolescence? And here is a simple answer. In the period of adolescence, a critical transition occurs. In this time, adolescents experience fast-paced growth and change. Biological processes drive many aspects of this growth and development, with the beginning of puberty making the passage from childhood to adolescence. And for question E, the biological determinants of adolescence are fairly universal. Explain it. I repeat the question. The biological determinants of adolescence are fairly universal. Explain it. What is the meaning of this sentence? And the answer is, the expression the biological determinants of adolescence are fairly universal means that almost all the adolescents of the world are subject to certain biological determinants. These determinations control their physical and mental characteristics greatly. Question F. Which stage is called the period of rapid transition? Which stage is called the period of rapid transition? And the answer is, adolescence is the period of rapid transition. These things happens very fast at this state, and duration of adolescence differs in different places due to cultural and socio-economic situations. So thank you very much, dear students. Thanks for being with me from today's class. I think you have learned a lot. Today I have discussed what is adolescence, and I have read the passage thoroughly. Then I have made a summary of the passage and vocabulary of the passage, some MCQ type of questions, clause test with clues, clause test without clues, and at last I have made some open-ended questions. I think this type of online class will help you to continue your study at home, and still we have not found any congenial atmosphere to open our educational institutions. So I request all HSC students to continue their study at home with the help of this online class. Thank you. Stay safe and stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.